How dare you sit there and say, I have a plan for the 2020 Arizona Cardinals and that I have the most cap space that I'm going to be able to basically play with throughout my whole 7-year tenure that I've been an Arizona Cardinal GM. Don't sit there and say I have a plan for next year. Because honestly, most everybody in this fan base has lost all faith in you, has lost faith in the organization. And if we see you next year, Michael Bidwill, you really need to evaluate your team and the culture that has been showing up in State Farm Stadium and showing mostly yellow and black. And then the week before that, all the Rams fans that came in there and took over State Farm Stadium. Steve Keim, your days are numbered, and I hope this is your last year as the GM for the Arizona Cardinals. Go ahead and run that intro. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with yet another video of the Arizona Sports Fan. I want to thank every single one of you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Before we get started on this video here, I want to go ahead and say, if you're new, please consider subscribing to the Arizona Sports Fan channel. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're cutting it close, and honestly, I'm not sure if it's even attainable at this point, but we do want to go ahead and hit it. So you make sure you hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell, just because we do live streams. We do post content here, all Arizona Cardinals, and what we should focus on for the rest of the year. So we're going to go ahead and jump into what we wanted to go ahead and talk about today. And obviously, by my intro, we all pretty much know what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be our general manager, Steve Keim, why I feel like his days should be numbered and that this should be his last year with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I did go ahead and build up 5 main points as to why we should get rid of Steve Keim and why I do not want him just in general. Now, Steve Keim did start in 2013 with us. And, he was known for his Keim time signs and finding some gems, in the later rounds, such as David Johnson, Tyrann Mathieu, some might say J.J. Nelson. And those are just to kind of name a few of people out there, Tony Jefferson. But, since he's been the GM most recently, he is very, very just kind of did a very horrible job, in my opinion, in handling situations and not doing the right thing for the organization. Sometimes I feel like he's in a power trip, and because he is in this position right now, he is such on a high in a power trip. Everything needs to go his way, and honestly, it's hurting the organization, and his time should be done this year. My number 5 point as to why I feel like Steve Keim should go. Just point and simple, his first round picks that he has chosen for the Arizona Cardinals has not been to par. They most likely are busts than they are helping the organizations, or they're with another team. So let's go ahead and start into 2013. Jonathan Cooper, bust. Sincerely bust. This guy did not do good in the NFL level. He was cut, and then I think he went to New England, which they were trying to give him a try, and he ended up getting cut from them as well. He was an offensive tackle that just did not make it in the NFL. 2014, Dayum Buchanan. He was with us for a few years. He ended up leaving or getting cut, but now I think he is with the New York Giants at this point. Not sure exactly what his position was, but he was a safety, and what they try to make him do was they try to make him play as a linebacker, but it just didn't last very long. He had some injuries by the end of the day, and he just didn't make it in the NFL roster, at least in our Cardinal roster, and he ended up getting picked up by the Giants. 2015, DJ Humphries. Now, he's still with the team, one of the few people that is still with the team at this moment, but he has some struggles with always getting a lot of flags, and to be honest with you, I do not know if he's the answer completely at left guard, but I think right now we're handcuffed to the moment where I don't think this free agency pool is going to be good for left tackle, so I feel like he's gonna get the luck of the draw at this point, and we're gonna have to sign him to a pretty decent deal and keep him next year. I mean, he's He's okay. He's not the best, but he's not the worst either. So DJ Humphries is still with the team. 2016, Robert Nkemdiche. Now, there is a reason why he fell as far as he did, and most GMs saw that, except for, of course, Steve Keim. Now, I know a lot of people said, wow, that was such an awesome pick for Robert Nkemdiche to fall that far back, and Steve Keim picking him up. He must be awesome. He did a great job. Robert Nkemdiche was terrible. Such a terrible pick and such a terrible waste of first round pick, in my opinion. 2017, Hassan Reddick gets picked up. He was a linebacker. Now, they were saying that in Temple, he was playing as an outside linebacker, and what they wanted to do was they moved him in the inside linebacker to kind of basically do coverage here. Now, as of right now, what I've seen this year and last year, he's terrible at covering. He cannot do anything really in the covering. He's just too slow. If he does not make a spark in these last 3 games, I do feel like Hassan Reddick's days are numbered with the organization, and that will also in turn to be another wasted first round pick. 2018, Josh Rosen. Obviously, we all know that situation. Josh Rosen was picked 10th overall to be our future quarterback, and this can be up in the air. A lot of people didn't have faith in Josh Rosen. They didn't like the way he played, but he ended up getting traded to the Miami Dolphins, and that was a top pick that was wasted as well. And now we lead to this year's last year's pick, 2019, Kyler Murray. Now, Kyler Murray does show flashes of potentially being a franchise quarterback, but then he also regressed from these past 2 games that we've seen. I do hope we can see more progression from him and get better, but he has regressed, which is a little worrying me. But bottom line, we need to make sure that O-line is, is good enough to protect him. And I think right now he's seeing ghosts like Sam Darnold is. And my number 4 point, and so it's kind of, it coincides with each other. I do not like the way he handled the whole Patrick Peterson situation when there was rumors out there that there was a possibility that Philly might have wanted to go ahead and give a first round pick for Patrick Peterson. And as of right now, we're all pretty much like in awe, like, why didn't you take that that offer at that point? Who knows what else anybody else offered at this point, but it's just his lack of knowing when to pull the trigger and when to hold on to a player. I just feel like it's really, really terrible. And also the Josh Rosen situation. Why in the living heck do you wait until draft night when all the teams pretty much can offer anything they possibly could at this point? Josh Rosen was handled completely bad as well. Waiting to the draft night and getting a second round pick when we probably could have gotten a first somehow if you let everybody know that, hey, he's available. And this whole top secret thing of, are we going to pick Kyler? Are we not going to pick Kyler? Dang well the moment you hired Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray was going to get hired. I just hate the whole secretive thing and all that different stuff, and I ended up biting him in the butt. Patrick Peterson could have got a first round pick, and I honestly do feel like Josh Rosen, if it was betterly handled, we could have got a little higher of a pick. Oh, my number 3 point, I'm letting Marcus Golden go. Now, he recently signed with the Giants, not recently, but in the offseason, he signed with the Giants, and instead of paying Marcus Golden, I understand he did have injuries throughout his season, but we ended up getting Terrell Suggs. Now that's my 3rd point. Terrell Suggs has not done anything. I mean, I guess he's done a few different things, and honestly, I just feel like it was a wasted pick. I'm sorry, Terrell Suggs. I know you had a really awesome career with the Baltimore Ravens, but right now the way I'm seeing you play is just really hard to watch when you're just pretty much jogging and giving up on plays. And honestly, I feel like this was a bad signing on behalf of Steve Keim. We should have kept Marcus Golden. He was a young player that we probably could have had Marcus Golden and Chandler Jones for the next couple years, and honestly, that was such a good pass rushing duo to me, and I really do feel like it's unfortunate that we let him go and place got Terrell Suggs. 2 point. I also kind of want to say another player that I felt like was really unfortunate that I saw him leave, and it's also with the D-line. Obviously, our D-line sucks right now, but Calais Campbell was let go from the Arizona Cardinals. He hit free agency. He was in a negotiation with a few teams. I think it was the Broncos, it was the Jaguars, and it was with the Cardinals. But I think the moment when the Jaguars were going to give Calais Campbell a big check, like a big payout, he was speaking to his agent. There's a video out there somewhere. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but there's a video out there where Calais Campbell is asking the agent to please call the Arizona Cardinals and say, can you at least match it or come close to this number? Because bottom line, he wanted to stay with the organization. He wanted to stay with the Arizona Cardinals. And what did Steve Keim do? He said, no thank you, goodbye. We're going to get somebody in the draft to replace you. Oh, big mistake. Completely big mistake. I loved Calais Campbell and everything he brought to that defensive line. For my one overall point, signing Sam Bradford. Like, what the heck are you doing? They signed him to a 2-year deal, $20 million. I believe it was $15 million guaranteed. When he only played 3 to 4 games, such a wasted signing. Like, why did anybody even consider? Oh, yeah, I know, because he had one good season with the Vikings. But did nobody see what he did with the Rams? Like, he was super terrible. He was terrible. Whatever. So that was my number one, guys. Let me know what you guys feel like is your top 5 list, or even what is one that I might have missed that you can go ahead and let me know in the comments. Drop a like, drop a comment. If you're new, please subscribe. That's all I got for this episode, guys. I'm out. Thank you so much. #FireKeim.